you guys must get someone with courage to just do a documentary about Cyril. Cyril didn't attend Mandela's inauguration because he was angry at Nelson for not putting him as a deputy president. Because the Oppenheimers have been touting him that he will be Mandela's deputy president. The Cyril has been self-seeking, and he has been saving the Oppenheimer and the Minel family and all of them with loyalty, and not now. From the 70s, Cyril has been working with these people. Cyril went to establish a NUM, a union of mine workers without being a mine worker. Cyril has never been a mine worker. Cyril has never been underground a mine. He went to school to do law. When he came back, he served as a legal officer in the Oppenheimer file. So when Mandela walks out of Portsmouth prison, you must look at that video. You don't know whether Cyril is a bodyguard or what, but he's there giving the car direction. By the wall is the one who's holding the mic. This guy is infiltrating Nelson.
But there is one problem about photos. It's a serious problem. I'm not sure whether I know one person that they take a lot of photos with is Julius, Honorable Malema. And then
I don't have a photo with Matlala.
Well, at least Usbaru. So and then these photos, you find them moving around. So, and you really say, did I check this one? You know this Matala issue. There is a photo that I've taken recently. I was not even aware that one person has changed here. So now when he moves around and you see that there are changes, you realize, yeah, man.
The best option for your name not to be called again is to keep quiet. If you are sensitive like that, keep quiet. But if you are going to open your mouth, you must know a reference is going to be made to that opened mouth, especially if it gets opened and say a lot of nothing. So there is nothing wrong with points of engagements and done in a very respectful way.
There must not be a female president, there must be a president, whether female or not. No one must deny people that they can't be president because they are women. No one can do that. Women must stand, accept the nominations wherever they are nominated for positions of president, and both men and women must support them on the basis of their qualities. No one must say, we're not going to be governed here by a woman. There is no such a policy in the EFF. So a woman president is inevitable. We almost had, by the way, Pumzile. President Mbeki, when he was fighting with Zuma, went to Bloemfontein and said, we need a female president before Polokwane. And then he goes to Polokwane, he forgets it's not a female, he stands himself. After he said he wants a female president, and no one called him a flip-flopper, by the way. He's an intellectual, he's a thinker. Right? President Mbeki, the way he was so powerful, we feared that guy. When that guy walked into the corridors of Kosas, he knows, we used to run like this. You know a president you must run to. We run opposite direction, hiding. That if he asks you some difficult question, how are you going to navigate it? Had President Mbeki said Pumzile must be president of South Africa, he was going to write about it. If you don't hear him, he was going to write every Friday about it until you hear him. He was going to argue it intellectually and politically as to why. And with the power he had, we're going to accept it. President Mbeki was the most influential person, even when we went to remove him in Polokwane in the Youth League.
We have a serious problem of crime.
partly because we've somehow disempowered our law enforcement. People point guns at law enforcement. Law enforcement, when you call them, there is an attack, there is a crime being committed, they ask, is there guns, is there blood? And they are scared for their own lives, because they know if they go there and defend themselves, they are still going to be treated somehow. And I was very happy with Mkwana's job in KZN now, where he killed a lot of dangerous criminals who were pointing guns at law enforcement officers. And I heard some journalists writing that excessive force by the police is unacceptable. You cannot argue like that now when we are under attack. Our murder rate in South Africa surpasses the murder rate of areas where there is war, as if we are in a war. So because we are not in a war, but criminals have declared war against us, we need to respond in a military way to stop them, because we've been speaking to them and they're taking advantage of us. Today in South Africa, law-abiding citizens live in fear and criminals live in a happy environment. No criminal has got high walls because they're not scared, but the people who comply with the law are scared. So we must make the people who comply with the law to demolish high walls and enjoy their gardens and the views of their beautiful houses, and we need to make the criminals scared.
Julius Malema has another one for us. He's in Parliament and he's ready to deliver. Let's have a watch.
Honorable Malema to conclude his speech. Honorable Malema.
I'm not concluding, Chair. I still have a lot of time. I've got 40 minutes. So to say I must conclude, you can't dictate to me. I'm still speaking.
No, of course I'm not saying that you should cut on your time.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is that please conclude.
I get it. You asked me a question.
Please conclude.
And then you wanted me to answer.
On a point of order.
I'm now answering. Because
just a minute, Honorable point of order.
I can be very personal. You want to be personal, I can be very personal.
Please, Honorable Malema, just a minute. Honorable Malema.
Yeah.
Of course, one of the remarks that you have made, and I'm sure you won't deny this.
Yes.
Is this comment from the President. Can you please withdraw the remark?
No, wait, DP, wait. The question was, Chair, gender-based violence. What's my take on that? And then extended to, do you abuse your wife? So I answered the question on the wife. I'm now dealing with my perspective on gender-based violence. It must not be gender-based violence when it comes to Julius Malema, and when it comes to your president, it's not gender-based violence. I'm a president of an organization too, and I shall treat your president the same way you treat me.
Honorable Malema.
I want to tell you,
Honorable Malema.
You asked me about gender-based violence.
Honorable
I'm with the president, I'm still going to others.
Honorable Malema, I've asked you a clear, direct question. I've asked you to withdraw what you have said about the president. Honorable Malema, can you please respond to what I'm asking you to do? I'm asking you to withdraw the remark that has been made about the president.
Okay. Let me explain this thing maybe differently. No, you don't want the truth. You don't want the truth. That's a problem. Now, I've said, and I'm prepared to withdraw. But I said, in answering your question, 1, I don't beat up my wife. 2, my lawyers have written a letter to Honorable Mamabolo because he repeated it outside. Why is that important? It's important because if you have nothing to hide, you must take it to court, Mr. Malema. So I've taken it, he must pay me 1 million, or else I'm taking him to court. He has received the letter to show that I'm not hiding anything about abusing my wife.
Can the president answer the question? Did he beat his late wife? That's the question we must answer. Because I've been asked the same question in this house about the president has got a history of beating up his wife, the late wife, and I'm following in the same steps you have been following. I'm happily married. Yes. I don't have an ex-wife that says I was beating her up. And President Zuma confirmed that Noma Zizi, the ex-wife, used to complain to President Zuma about being abused by the president. On a point of order, Chair. Bring it on. Well, I'm not scared of all of you. I'm not scared of nothing. Honorable Malema, I'm not scared of you. Order members. Can I ask you for the last time, Honorable Malema? But who said what? Please withdraw the remark. And if we don't withdraw the remark, I'm about to ask you to leave the house. You don't want the truth. Your president abused his ex-wife. You can abuse power the way you want to abuse it. No, but come to me and you say to me, I give you the facts. Come to me with the nonsense, I'll give you nonsense. Honorable Malema, please leave the house. I'm not part of the process. I can leave the house now. Facts remain. Mama Zizi must rest in peace. She was abused by your president. Leave.
Show me in any policy of the EFF where I say Africans must not have documents. The reason why you are not catching these Mozambicans who are stealing cars is because of that gate. But once we all belong to one continent, everybody will be having a passport of that continent. Everyone. Which means you can be located somewhere. We'll find you. Everybody. So what is your problem? And there is some level of madness, Prof, where we've got a gate called a border. It's a gate. But there's no fence. Just imagine a person going to his house. He has installed a gate and there's no fence. He opens that gate and closes it, and not just close it, lock it. There's no fence. No, anyone who says there is a fence is lying. There's no fence. These are artificial. So we need to industrialize. We need to electrify the whole continent. We can get ESCOM to electrify the whole continent. And the whole continent pays us for electricity. Because ESCOM has got the necessary capacity to can electrify the whole continent. Don't tell me about these man-made problems, which can be resolved by capacity only. So you have to now use the minerals of the continent in the continent. So if we are good with giving them electricity, another country will be good at giving us this, and then imagine us alone, Prof, with Zimbabwe. We account for not less than 85% of the platinum. Then the next biggest country who has platinum is Russia. So if we bring Russia, then we are now at 90% owners of platinum. Why can't we decide the price of platinum? Because we are the owners of platinum. It can only be done if the continent is together. DRC is in crisis today, and it will never be resolved because of its minerals. Those people destabilizes that country so that they can take the minerals in that country without paying taxes, because there is no proper government. I mean, people go into a forest and build a landing strip. There's no one who controls the airspace there. They just go in, zoom, collect whatever they collect and leave.
General Mkwanas is a good cop, but it doesn't mean he doesn't have faults.
Yeah.
There is no human being that is. Some of them serious faults, but I guess it will be genuine faults rather than criminality and all that. Khumalo, well, maybe the statement there is not full of what General Mkhwana said. He said he was disappointed on Minister Cele and never spoke to him thereafter, if you finish the statement that he said. Panyaza, the premier, having created Amapanya, I'm sure they were condemned yesterday. But I know for sure that those Mapanya were given certificate by the Minister of Justice. I know for sure. But he is also, him and Premier of KZN are also MECs of safety in their provinces, both of them. Now, Panyaza says, I met him in Pretoria, in Apache, not in place of cat. No. So he says, I want you to work with me to coordinate all security agencies in Gauteng to fight crime. I agree with that because there are 4 provinces that gives us sleepless night when it comes to crime in South Africa. 3 full KZN, Western Cape, Gauteng, and half Eastern Cape. They give us nightmares. So if anybody says, I'm prepared to put more resources in my province, Gauteng, that will help us a lot to deal with it. So he approaches me, but he says, I say to him, look, Premier, it will be good to work with you, but I'm not an operative. I'm not. Though I was a national commissioner, people saying this national commissioner who is a civil. I'm not a civilian, by the way, I'm a soldier. I'm trained fully, heavily so. So I'm not a civilian. Don't talk to me as a civilian, I'm a soldier. So I know the mentality of the armed forces. And I've been, all my life, by the way, I've been a commissar. And I can give you the prescription and the job of the commissar. I've been a commissar in the camps. All where I've gone, I've been I've never been a commander, but I've been a commissar all my life. So I then said to Premier, I'm not a commander. We'll have to get a person that will command and coordinate all the forces.
Who was your commander?
When
you were commissar, who was your commander?
Was JZ. all my life, Julius, I was commanded by Commander JZ. In exile and inside the country, that's my commander, Commander Zuma. Chairperson, I've said this time and again, or I heard Mkhwanazi talking about it here. I said this is a good learner. I've said it time and again. Sometimes I think those that I belong with them in the organization, they'll think I'm a rebel on it. We created the situation where victims are treated worse than the perpetrators. Perpetrators in South Africa are having it nice. And the victims are thrown under the bus by the system. Most of your kids here, they are at school, private school, you have houses, you have cars and all that. If one of you are shot and killed, that killer will be taken to police station. The first thing that will do will complain about cold water. Want a hot water. That's the first thing that I can't use cold water here. I want a hot water. And indeed, you run around like a headless chicken getting hot water for him. The second one will say, I don't eat this, I eat this. When he's sick, most of them are taken to private hospitals where they have never been. Go there. When they are sentenced, they sit with TV and they watch everything and still go enjoy their medication and all that. When they stay longer, they study until we have just been given the numbers of those that would be writing matric, and others, they come out with PhDs and all that. Where are the kids of the father that was shot by that person? Nobody knows. We have the track record and the follow-up of a perpetrator until gets the parole. But we don't know about the kids that as their father dies, they are taken out of their private school because they can't pay. Their cars is repossessed, their house is repossessed, and kids, we call them paras. The system is wrong. We just need to go back. It's sympathetic and it's good to perpetrators vis-a-vis the victims. I think that should be really, well, that is not a sour grape, because people that follow my statements, publicly speaking, I've said that thing time and again. The police die young. Maybe that's why we have subset and all that kind of thing. Even that, by the way, Honorable Malema, it's fun that we don't have the special education trust from the government that teaches the offense of the police that die on the line of duty. When we pay about 13,000 rand a month for a single prisoner, and those that are innocent, they get 350 rand. Then it's fine to go to prison. We pay 13,000 rands per prisoner a month. We pay 350 rand for a person that does not work and is hungry with the family. So people, they get comfort out of crime, out of committing crime. So I think we need to go back and check the system and see what we can do with the system as a whole. Thanks.
What's up, amazing and beautiful souls. So thank you so much for always coming back. I truly appreciate your presence. And guys, in today's video, we're going to talk about Julius Malema. You know, this guy, an Africanist, you know, someone who is fighting for the rights of Africa in general, not only in South Africa. And recently we watched the clips of him in Parliament trying to grill this particular former members of the state, those who added. For instance, one of them was former Minister Mchunu, who was actually given a compulsory leave because of his affiliation to criminal activities, like not really like directly, but you see a situation where criminal is supposed to be be held accountable, and then is there protecting them. There was an instance where they formed a committee or a team called the Political Killings Task Team, which was supposed to investigate the rampant political killings that happens in South Africa. What really happened next? What happened next? You know, this guy, the Minister of Police, the one that is supposed to protect the citizens of South Africa, disbanded it, and it brought a lot of question mark, like what is happening? Yeah, that was the question, of course. And a committee was formed after public outcry. The president had to come out and say, you know what, Minister Mchunu, you need to step aside, and we form a committee that is going to grill you to really know the truth. And guess what? Hey, our Pan-Africanist Julius Malema was in Parliament and grilling this guy like never before. This guy was actually exposed, I would say. There was a lot of inconsistent testimony on what he was saying. I mean, they didn't really make sense. For instance, he said that he had clip of, the person that blew up this particular story. He had a clip of him, and evidence of him, saying some words here and there. And when he was told, yeah, we are here to know the truth, so produce the evidence. You know what? He didn't even have, I mean, how can you even convince the committee? Really? No, that can't even, you cannot even convince an insect, in short. So, Malema, I will say, is somebody that has a plan. He said that he has a plan with the future. As much as so many people are coming out to discourage him, to discredit him, there are so many others of his supporters, and of course he's a big supporter of himself because he knows what he's doing. He's awakened already. He's trying to awaken us, and I don't know why some people don't even see it. My God, guys, you need to listen to Pan-Africanists. We have even somebody else like Joshua Maponga. This guy goes around Africa, telling us the pure truth. But the disadvantage with us, I will say, it's the love of money. We are easily bought. And previously we published a video about this guy called Julius Farrakhan. This was, I don't know how to say, when we talk about Pan-Africanists, for them it's Pan what? Pan-Americanism, because this guy was fighting for the rights of the black people in America. And he was telling us, money is nothing, but unity is something better, far much better than money. Money is what they used to disunite, to make us not to unite. But Africa, if we become united, that will be the best thing that will ever happen to our continent, and it's going to grow. But if you have poor leaders who actually care so much about their stomach than the needs of the people, then we're gonna suffer. Some countries borrow enormous money that even, you'll have like 10 generation of you living, being born and then dying, being born, and all this generation, they will be required to pay a loan that was borrowed from, the Western world and Europe, and at a very high interest. And unfortunately, we are already trapped. We are extremely trapped. That is how these people control us. And once you reach a limit or a place where you can no longer borrow, then the money becomes useless and inflation takes place. Man, I just pray that my country never gets to that point, because I think, was it the Zimbabwean pula that, I don't know, there is a country in South Africa that uses the USD, and I'm like, man, what is really happening? Because at the end of the day, this dollar does not help your economy. It's actually strengthening the economy of America, in short. Congo, the same thing. And the reason as to why Congo is not united, it's because of the vast minerals that are happening, that is there in their lands. Guys, they have the materials, they have gold, but guess who have set up the mines? It's not even them. Guess even the military that are there, they're not even there to protect the citizens of Congo. Imagine, they're there to protect the resources that they're stealing from us. Hey, Africa, what can we do, guys? What can we do? Because as much as the likes of Julius Malema, Maponga, the likes of Lumumba, PLO Lumumba, the likes of, these Pan-Africanist activists, they come out, they enlighten us, they awaken our consciousness, but at the end of the day, we will have those who will be like, but it's okay, even if they're doing this, at least we are getting this. But remember, we are not getting what we really do deserve. If you sit down and think about, what if we mine our own minerals and then we do until the finished product and we sell, then it's going to be more advantageous. See what Burkina Faso did. Burkina Faso, for instance, after they chased the French and also the Mali and Niger, they actually chased French away from their country, and they said that they told them, we don't want your mines here because your mines are actually used for child labor. You are using our children, and yet they are supposed to be going to school. Your children are going to school, our children are not going to school. And they were like, from today, I don't want to see you here. That was now the president of Burkina Faso. He told them the mines will belong to us now, not you. And also, Niger, a country like Niger, their uranium used to power France, the country. And I mean, the northern part of Africa, those countries there, they used to suffer a lot. And if you look even at their countries, they're not really developed. But I mean, Traore, big up. Traore is called the president of Africa. Pardon, Africa. And this guy, man, hey, everybody just wants to be in that country. South Africa also, everybody wants to be there. And unfortunately for South Africa, there are only around 10% of the white people who own 72% of agricultural land. Does that make sense, guys? You mean you want to tell me that 28% of the agricultural land is owned by the majority, the 90% of South Africans, black South Africans? Does that make sense? No. And I think that's what really pains somebody like Julius Malema, because he's like, you need to return our lands. When you came, you had nothing at all. You came empty-handed and then forcefully took our lands. Forcefully, guys. They took the lands and now they started distributing among themselves. And yeah, it has been there since. And guys, that doesn't make sense. When Julius Malema tells their people that they need to return the land without reparations, yeah, you need to return it. Why should we pay to get our land back? Does that even make sense? What's the point of even having these borders around our country and there are no even fences? It's just empty and then there is just an entrance. It doesn't make sense. Why can't you just open, We just have a one united Africa. We use the same currency, our own currency that the African leaders have agreed on to use, and it's going to really help us. Do we have the machinery to do so? Do we have the power? Of course we have. If our leaders decide that, this is what we are going to do, we want our own people the standard of living to go high. Look at Russia is the most sanctioned country in the world, guys. And this particular country, America thinks that when they sanction any country, they are going to limit them from trading around the world. And guess what? They're doing so much well. South Korea sanctioned again, doing so much well. But anyway, thank you if you watched the clip up to this point. I appreciate your presence and I love you to the moon and back.